You there?
Don,
Hey, partner, how you doing?
good, good. How you been? How are you?
I'm okay.
Thanks so much for joining. How you feeling?
A little stiff, a little stiff in the back, you know.
So when you said you went to a doctor, I said, Don Frye don't go to a doctor.
Yes, the science lab.
Yeah, right. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But no, thanks so much, man. Thanks so much for finding the time. I truly appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome, sir.
Your name is so much like I see everyone's kind of talking about you. And
Oh,
I was listening to Sean Strickland. Think about this, right?
yeah.
Current middleweight champ. And one name, and this amazes me. And what I just wanted to ask you about that first and foremost. Like, what do you think about? Here's the current guy, current champ, right? Current fighter, which I love,
Right.
by the way. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
And um, so many fighters from your generation, and he's talking about you. He's talking about you.
Yeah.
And he even joked, right? I don't know if you probably heard it. He said, "Listen, I put on Don Frye's head, and my testicles got bigger." You know
Yeah.
what I mean? What do you think about when people like that say that? Like, how does it make you feel?
uh, Great, man. It's fun. I mean, just for somebody at that level to talk about me, or remember me. Shit, that's fantastic.
No, totally. I agree. I just think that like it's I think it's amazing. I think it's a huge testament to what you've done in your career. And but I think it's besides that. I was thinking, and let me ask you, like, I think it's beyond just the fighter that you were. I think he's a testament to the person you are, and like I think there's not a lot of people left that are able to speak their mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's one of them, right?
Yeah. Sean's got it down to a science, man. I'll tell you.
Yeah. What did you think when he won the fight and when he became the champ? What was your opinion about it?
That was great. Oh, that was fantastic. I mean, he worked his ass off, obviously,
Yeah.
and he deserved the title.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And a lot
Uh,
of people didn't expect that, right?
oh, yeah. I hope he hang on to it for a few years, I
Hope
mean,
so. I hope so. I know he's got a fight lined up, I think in January or sometime early next year.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's fighting that guy from South Africa. I forget the name. Drixus or I forget the last name or first name. It's
Yeah.
just kind of a strange name, but he was supposed to fight Adesanya, and then now he's fighting Strickland.
Hmm.
I like guys like Strickland. I think there's not a lot of fighters. And there was another interview I saw with Dominic Cruz. I don't know you know the name, the commentator, a fighter and commentator from the UFC. He
Right.
also spoke about that he trained with you at some point back in the day.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if you would remember that or not, but he spoke kind of like similar stuff. He said, "Listen, I I saw Don Frye in the gym, and they all talk about saying, listen, this man is like the most amazing, toughest. They also use the word toughest person, alive, or toughest person that they ever come across."
Well, thank you.
How is it possible? I mean, there's so many fighters back in your day, right? And then, but they all come back to you, man. That's amazing.
There's some monsters back in my day, monsters. And every fight, every fight on the on the Pride card could have been a main event, every
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you fought right next to these guys like Fader,
yeah.
all these big Japanese guys, everybody. I mean, you fought, I mean, Ken Shammer, everybody. Like I said,
Sakuraba, the Noguera brothers,
uh,
the axe murderer. I was just, they were all there. It was a wild time.
I can imagine. You ever think back to those days? Were those like the real days? I want to call it like, what do you think about the evolution of what I call MMA, whatever fighting? Is it still fighting or is it like a different diluted version or whatever? I don't know how to call it.
Yeah, I went from a fight to a sport to a TV show, right?
Right, right, right.
I mean, these guys, great athletes, good fighters, um, I mean, they're a lot more worried about their fucking hair, getting messed up, rather than just winning the fight.
Right,
You, know, you
right.
see, you see them over there fluffing their hair and, how do I look on TV? And You know, my toenails painted the right color. You know,
Oh my God, that's
you,
amazing, right?
yeah, you got time to paint your toenails. You got time to go out there run another 3 miles. You know.
Yeah, I wonder what happened, and then you know, let me ask you. I know you're straightforward with your answers. Do you think any fighter from today would have survived in UFC 8 or UFC 9 when you won those first initial fights?
Oh yeah, you know, I mean, they couldn't have beat me, but they made it to the finals. You know.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm talking 3 fights one night, and I'm talking no gloves. I'm talking,
Right.
well, you had gloves, and I think you said that it's really to protect the hand, right? It's not.
Yeah. You know, it's not for the face. It's
Yeah,
protect your hand. And I hit hard, so I broke my hand. You know, against Tank Abbott. You know, in the finals of Ultimate too, and I had gloves, and you know,
yeah.
so it shows you how hard you hit.
Oh, I can only imagine. I know he also wore gloves, I think, from
Right. You know, he hit hard too. I'll tell you.
who's the hardest hitter, Don, in your experience?
Uh,
Tank Abbott is one, or
Jerome LeBanner. You know, Jerome LeBanner,
what's up?
just a monster. Yeah.
Unbelievable. I mean, you fought some real big guys.
Yeah, about some big monsters. Yeah.
Total monsters. And I look back, and I think that's why a lot of these current guys give you so much credit. But I mean, you know, I want what I want to ask you for real is it's not just the fighters, but I think in the society, and I hear you and Dan on your podcast, you guys talk about that a lot. It seems like the generation has gotten softer, and like, is it the generally people you mentioned, you know, jokingly toenails and this and that. I mean, you have guys talking about stuff that before back in the day would never ever happen. What do you think is going on? Is it like the country? Is it the culture? What's your opinion? Because I know you always have.
The country's taking a shit. I mean, look at the idiot in the White House, you know, and the whole administration. You know, you got a cross dresser who's stealing luggage. You know, I mean, they're freaks, and
Unbelievable.
um, yeah, and he's taking the country down with him, and he's happy about it. He sold the country out. That's all there is to it, and it's doing a nosedive. Our only chance coming back is President Trump being reelected. You know, God bless him. And uh, other than that, you know, we're heading to the shitter.
Yeah, it looks really different. And you know, honestly, in just literally in a few years, you're talking
Yeah,
to like 2020. Seems
yeah,
like everything across. Look at the whole world, right? It's like everywhere you
yeah.
look, and it
Well,
seems like the whole culture is different. Yeah,
and when President Trump was in there, everybody's behaving. You know,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
as soon as
Reminds
this,
me of the sport, right? Like, and you
yeah,
gotta have somebody strong for everyone else to behave, right?
right, right,
And that is what's going on. I just see, and I work a lot with people, as I told you before, and I see people people are like scared, and people are aimless, just like thinking about they don't know what to think, they don't know what to do. And it's
right,
like you said, I think it starts from the top down, and it looks like the government, but the whole culture, you know, it seems like they're promoting this whole transgender, whatever, you know, gay, this, that, whatever, you know, it's all. I never question people, but it seems like it's almost like good to have guys like Sean Strickland, to have good guys that come off okay, rough edges and this and that. But it does remind me of you when you had your interviews, and I was watching you on older interviews. You've done a lot of interviews. You just straight up say whatever the hell you want to, what's on your
right.
mind.
Sean Strickland tells the truth. You
Yeah,
know, and it hurts people's feelings, but that's life. You know, shit. Too bad. Get over it. You know, I
no,
mean,
for sure,
if
for sure, for sure.
you keep telling people, oh, men can get pregnant, men can have menstrual cramps, men can do. No, they can't. You know, you're insane. You're developing this whole nation of insanity, and it's a culture now of insanity, and it's just going to get worse if you know if President Trump doesn't get in there and straighten it out. Then you know we're heading to the shitter.
Yeah, no, I think we're already there. I just think that hopefully
Yeah,
it change. And I actually think it's not only Trump, but someone with that type of mentality. I think someone that more, and I think in a couple of interviews, he talked about socialism, like he said, anything but social. I agree with that actually, but I just think that it could be maybe other people because it seems like they're not willing to let Trump come back, no matter what. There's legal.
They're trying to tell us. They're trying to tell us who we can vote for. You
Right,
know,
right,
I
right.
mean, they're trying to take him off the ticket in Michigan and Colorado, and I think the idiot from Arizona was going to try it, but he couldn't. You know, that's bullshit. You can't tell us who we can and can't vote for. I mean, if we don't want him, we won't vote him in. You know, but
Yeah.
you
Like
can't.
what happened? Why can't you walk in with your social security number or your driver's license
Right,
saying
right,
I want to vote for this guy? I want to vote for Don Frye to be in the White House.
right.
It's so
Yeah,
easy, right? If enough people vote for somebody, he gets elected. Like what happened to
absolutely.
that, right? Imagine
Yeah,
that was one day.
right. And if they don't want him, then they won't vote him in. I mean, come
No.
on. But
Right.
it's it's our right as American citizens to have the right to vote. Just
Absolutely.
as to carry a gun. Carry a firearm
Absolutely.
and freedom of speech. They're trying to eliminate all of our rights, and people are not smart enough to understand this and see this.
It seems to be, yeah. And what do you think? That was the last one I was going to ask you is freedom of speech, right? It's something
Right,
happened in the last few years where it's like it used to be that I could say whatever I want, and people, hey, don't listen to me, listen to me. It's your opinion, right? America, you could always say whatever you wanted, and people
right.
can pay attention or not. Now it seems like even on social media, if I say something not so politically correct or whatever else, boom, it gets blocked or removed. And it's like there's some things you can't say, which to me is so un-American, right? I think it's what
Yeah,
makes the country so great.
yeah. Freedom of speech was the number one amendment, to the Constitution, and it's because it's the most important. And if you can't speak and say how you feel, and what you think, well, then shit, might as well be in China,
Yeah, Russia, China, whatever.
right?
Totally. I know, and you guys talk about that quite a bit. But I think partially that's why people are different now. It's a scale, right? You start here, and then it's a sliding point, and you can't
Well,
say,
most of them, they're so goddamn weak. They want to be told what to do. They want to
yeah,
be told how to think, and that way they don't put themselves out there. They're in a dangerous situation of thinking for yourself.
right, and speak in your mind, because I think
Right,
sometimes people say what's popular, and it was crazy. I was reading that at one school, I think in UK in Great Britain, in one school, like 20 children at the same time wanted to talk about transgender, this and that. I'm like, it's impossible. There are 20 kids at the same time. So it means they're trying to be popular. It means the topic became popular, which is horrible. If somebody
right.
wants to do what they want to do with themselves, all right, let them do it. But like, why make it a mainstream type of stuff and infect other kids and tell other kids what they should be feeling and talking? And I think that's like a crime.
Yeah, they're trying to make it the end thing, and that's what it's become. But the thing is, you can't reverse it.
Right.
You want to fuck up. I mean, get a tattoo. That's bad enough. I mean, at least now they can partially remove the tattoo. But
Yeah.
man, you get your wanker cut off, it's gone forever.
Unbelievable, right? And there's a lot of lawsuits I see right now going on where they're trying to come back or they're trying to blame doctors and everything else. But I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
just saying, back in the day, this wouldn't even be a topic.
right.
It wouldn't even know about that. It's like, what?
Yeah. Well, I hope they're successful in their lawsuit because these doctors shouldn't be doing this bullshit.
Absolutely. And for the kids,
Especially,
imagine
yeah,
this.
especially if you're under 21. I mean, your brain doesn't start working until you're 30. So what are you doing? Letting kids decide this shit.
Yeah, 10-year-old kid. Are
Entertain.
you serious? I'm like, how can that be? And I think there are a lot of, and then with you and I, we can read a newspaper. Some guy goes and shoots up a mall or this and that. Well, you got a lot of mentally ill people walking around, seeing all this stuff, doing all this stuff, and then it translates. It means they got issues, and they should deal with those issues instead of running with their fantasies and doing this kind of stuff. And then, well, next thing you know, they continue to have issues, and they get a gun, and
Well, they screw up their system with, by injecting testosterone or estrogen in it. It's fucking up their whole chemical makeup. And yeah, they're gonna do stupid things like shoot people.
Yeah, yeah. No,
And and their only decision, the only way to stop it is to take away guns. Bullshit. You know, put all of our schools should have armed security guards for one thing. Every
absolutely.
fucking school.
Yeah.
We have enough money. It
That
can be done.
that would be a solution, by the way. It's not guns that shoot people, it's people shoot people, right?
No.
So
Yeah,
guns are guns.
gun's just an inanimate object, just like this glass of tea here. I can throw it at Tony's head right now. What's this?
Right? And then it's not
Tony's
glass's fault. It's not the glass, it's you. So the same thing, the
an
gun.
assault glass, an assault glass. Yes, an assault glass of tea. Yeah,
So now we can't have any glasses, right? That's it. Forbid glasses.
right. Yeah,
Let's take them off out of the stores. Yeah, it was funny. It's mind-boggling to see this, and I just see, and I think I'm telling you, like I started talking in the beginning. I think that's why people look back at some of the tough guys from back in the day. But it's not just tough fighters. There's a lot of tough fighters. There's guys that are true. I want to say, for lack of a better term, real men. And I think guys like Sean Strickland are one of them. I don't even know. Is there any like fighters that you like from today's generation, you personally? Because I know you kind of seen it all. Who else do you
yeah.
like besides Sean?
Oh hell, I can't think of their names right now. But I
Right.
mean,
But
love
you do like
Ngannou.
some, right?
I mean, Ngannou's great. Shit. And he's smart. He's talented, and he went off, got some money. Good
Yeah,
for him. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, it became a money thing, right? I think back in your day, I remember you talking about it. The first few times you fought for free. I think
yeah,
free fights, right?
yeah, absolutely. Because you love to do it, and it's shit. This is legal now. I go punch somebody. Shit, sign me up.
Beat someone up and get paid for it, but now they
Yeah,
get paid a lot of money. They get paid
right.
millions of dollars. And listen, I want to ask you this. If you, let's say, some miracle in your body, you can get your body back from that day, you could come back into the UFC. Um, who would you fight? Who would you want to fight? Like if you were to fight somebody. I don't know if you ever guessed this. You don't have to answer if you feel like it.
Well, I'd like to fight Brock Lesnar if I could do it. If I'd come back as the real Don Frye.
Right. He won't take the fight. I don't think he would take that fight.
I think it'd be a great fight. Shit. And but
I don't think he's a fighter like that, right? Is he? He's more of a WWE. What do you
yeah,
think?
well, he won the title what twice here. The guy's a hell of an athlete. You gotta give him that.
Yeah,
That's
no,
damn.
for sure.
And yeah, but yeah, he's a great pro wrestler. Crime, and he does stuff nobody else can do at his size. And
He's a big dude, right? He's a big
yeah,
guy. I think they
yeah,
made special gloves for him.
yeah.
Couldn't put on anything else.
Yeah, like when I fought Akimono, Akimono's got hands the size of the computer.
Oh my god! You know that's amazing to me. And I saw, by the way, like I saw Hoist Gracie for him. I saw everybody for him. He's a huge guy, and
Yeah,
it's like I look at it. I like they don't even make those fights anymore. They don't make people like that anymore. It's just amazing to me to kind of
but
see.
UFC needs to come up. They need to come up with a super heavyweight division.
Okay,
Because there's a lot of talented fighters out there who are over 265 pounds,
right.
and I mean when the heavyweight division was formed in boxing, 150 years ago, your average guy was buck 85. Yeah,
Yeah.
they got the 200 pounds and then 220, but now it's 265 is just average.
Yeah. Well, they just had that fight. I'm sure you know about it. Frank Ngannou versus Tyson Fury, right?
Yeah, yeah, that was a great fight. Yeah,
Big guys, two big guys, man. But
yeah,
it became like you look at them next to each other. Okay, you put like a smaller person, they're giants, man.
yeah.
You like the fight? What do you think about that fight?
272 pounds each, crime
Unbelievable.
and a
But
couple of
skill,
months.
man. A lot of skills. Like I look at
Yeah, a lot of skills, a lot of talent, athletic ability. Yeah, they're just, like Akimono. He wasn't just some big fat slob. He was, a grand national sumo champion, and he
right.
was, a top athlete on this planet.
Absolutely. Hey,
You know?
listen, to fight in pride, you'd have to be. I mean, you have
Yeah.
to be
I mean, he happened to be, 6'11", 600 pounds, Jay's a monster.
unbelievable. And I remember, well, that was a couple of UFCs before your start. I remember there was a big fighter in the UFC.
Annie Yarborough. Annie
Yeah,
Yarborough.
he passed
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, he was a great guy. Great guy.
You saw him, met him? Okay.
Manny and I sat outside in New York one night and sat in this big Cadillac and drank a ball of bourbon, Just sitting there passing it back and forth, just talking, for a couple of hours. He's a great guy.
Yeah, yeah, it was a huge guy, and I think he only had one fight in the UFC, and back then they would just put anybody against anybody. I mean, the fights that you were winning in the beginning was against gigantic people, all bigger than you,
Yeah.
pretty much all the time, right?
Right.
Especially Mark Coleman and everybody else. But that's unbelievable, and I think that kind of speaks for that era of people. I think people are different fighters, and everything seems to be different. I got to ask you as a fan, like, who is your favorite boxer? I know we watched this Tyson Fury fight. Who's your favorite boxer, like from before?
Rocky Marciano, Joe Louis, Joe Frazier, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield. Those are my guys.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree.
Um, Archie Moore, loved Archie Moore.
Yeah,
Jake LaMotta. Gary Fetzik. Gary Fetzik broke both his hands in a fight and kept fighting.
that's amazing.
Unbelievable.
That's amazing. And it kind
Yeah,
of kind of goes back to what I was saying. Like, I think they don't make them like that anymore. Like you guys, like these guys in the past, broke your hand. Like right now, if you break your hand, that's it. They stop the fight or they quit or whatever. But
right.
only some people would just. I think a guy like Sean Strickland would just keep fighting. I don't care if you break his head, hand, whatever, anything. His
Well,
leg falls off, he'll keep going.
he's not smart enough to quit. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's the fighting spirit, and I think that there's more to it, man. I think can you? And let me ask you this: what do you think? Can you teach a fighting? Like, can you take a person and say, "Hey, you know what?
Oh, you gotta be born with that.
You
You
got it,
got,
right?"
yeah. It's like being able to take a punch. You gotta be born with it. I mean, I remember back when Mike Tyson was it. All everybody was like, "Oh, I get in a ring, they knock me out for $1 million." No, you stupid idiot. That's not the idea. The idea is to get in there and win. You know, you don't go in there looking to get knocked out. You go in there to win, but against Mike Tyson, that's what happens.
That's what
You
happens.
get
But I don't think
knocked out.
anybody went in there trying to get knocked out. People want to fight. People
Yeah.
that say that they don't get into the ring. They just talk about it, right?
Right, right,
Anybody
yeah.
can talk
You
about
know
it.
how many tough guys that are sitting on the couch, with their computer in their lap? Oh, there's so many tough guys. And how many fights have you been in? Well, I've never been in a fight. I mean, how many times I've had people say that to me. I've never been in a fight, but I think I could do that. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think so too. You'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Try it, right? Give it a
Yeah.
shot. And then they get hit one time and that's it. They forget about
Oh,
it.
they piss themselves. Shit.
Sure, sure.
They'll flat piss themselves. I've seen it happen.
You've seen it, right? Yeah, I was going
Yeah.
to. And people talk about, listen, like I said, that's what social media and this current internet thing did. People that used to sit in a basement and just, shut the blinds and be scared. Now they got a voice. Now they get online
Right.
and they're tough guys.
Right.
And computer. But they go outside and they see people like, forget it, not even the fighter, but just, regular tough guys
They
and
can't even look you in the eye when they talk to you.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
mean, come on. You got to keep your eyes on your opponent at all times. And if you got to look down and talk, then you're not going to have a chance, I'll tell you.
absolutely. Do you think what's the most important thing in the fight, Don? Is it to be able to take a punch or to be able to deliver a punch, in your opinion?
Take the punch, you got to be able to take the punch. Yeah.
That's
I
what
mean,
makes a fighter, right?
yeah, yeah. You could be you have the greatest hands in the world, boom, 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 boom. But if you can't take that one punch, man, you're wasting everybody's time.
Yeah. And I saw this one current fighter, I think Luke Rockhold. I don't know if you ever watched
Yeah,
it.
Luke. Yeah,
Doesn't
fantastic.
it seems like he gets hit, and for some reason he doesn't have that great of a chin, or maybe he had it before something happened, but he doesn't seem to have that chin. And sometimes he gets hit. I mean, granted, it's all big guys that hit him, and I think he's like a great fighter, but then boom, right away he gets hit and he kind of falls apart. And this seems like different. Um, I know you've done some commentating too. Were you ever like a commentator as well, or no?
Yeah, I did a couple of
Trying-
them. I enjoyed it. Had a great time. Had a
Yeah.
great. Apparently, I wasn't politically correct, you know. So I wasn't asked back, you know.
And that's what it is, right? It's hard to kind of like hold back, I think, because you want to be yourself. And
Yeah, you want to be yourself. You want to. I mean, that's what they hire you for. Be yourself, man. They want you to share your expertise, you know, your knowledge, but you only have a certain way of delivering that information. And if they can't handle the way you deliver the information, well, then it's you get fired.
you'll get called back. And I think that's part of this political correctness thing going on, right? Because hey, unless you say what they want you to say, so they invite you for being who you are, but then you can't be who you are. And then if you
Right.
continue to be who you are, and yes, that's why I like your podcast with Dan, because you guys are just speaking your mind. You just boom, you unload, and you kind of. Who was the most? No, I don't want to say most. Does anyone come to mind like one of your guests that was like really interesting, opened up on the
Yeah,
podcast?
a lot of guys, we get in there and they open up. We have a great time. I think one of the most entertaining was the Honky Tonk Man. You
Oh
know,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, Dwayne. He just told us some stories, inside stories, and it was great. Had a great time with him. I think that's the highest rated one we had.
absolutely. Yeah, I love all the episodes. Let me ask
Thank
you
you.
about. I know because I know you worked with and you love Rob Schneider.
Yeah.
And does he ever plan to come back? I know you had him on the show too, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. He was one of our first guests. He was great.
Oh, okay. I hope
Uh,
he comes back. I hope you
I
guys
hope
get.
so too. He's just, it's hard to pin him down because he's in such demand. He
Oh,
really is.
all right.
He's a great guy, super funny. Everybody wants a piece of him.
Yeah. But you know what I found amazing? He also speaks his mind. He is
Yeah,
actually quite conservative, and he actually openly talks about what he thinks about what's going on, which is unusual for Hollywood for people that
yeah.
are in the
Well,
movie
that's,
business.
that's why that's why he's sitting outside. He hasn't made a movie in years. Because he's not playing the game.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. It's
and
a shame.
Hollywood's missing out, man. They're missing out. Uh,
Absolutely.
by blackballing Rob Snyder. Rob Snyder's great. He's funny. He's super intelligent, and he's got a hell of a fan base. Everybody loves Rob.
Everybody, every single person. I think he's one of the most talented
Yeah,
actors, comics, whatever you want to call it. Great human being. I see he had a
yeah,
show recently on I don't know what Netflix or whatever, just playing himself. I thought it was so funny, him and his wife and everything. But I think he's one of those rare talents, man, which are hard to
yeah.
like. And that's what hurts me when I see people that are truly, for political correctness, truly get shut down and truly get blackballed or whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
I hope, like you said, I hope the country kind of wakes up. I hope America becomes America again because that's
We got
just
to get our head out of our ass. The whole country's got to pull their head out of their ass, and yeah, like you said, become America again.
yeah,
Because that's people say, well, the white man did this, the white man did this. The white man, is one of the reasons the country's great. Sorry, and yes, there's a little bit of slavery. Everybody had slavery in the history of their. Everybody had slavery. The Indian tribes had slavery. Yeah, they conquer their opponent and they have slaves. That happened everywhere on every continent. They're slaves. So but the thing is, we didn't create slavery. We ended it.
absolutely, absolutely. But that was listen. You talking nearly 200 years ago, right? So
Right.
I think it's obviously
Well, the slavery in the United States of America was only 90 years anyways,
right.
87, 90 years. That's all it was.
And then it's listen, you can't change history. Like I see a lot of times they try to take down
Mm-hmm.
monuments. I'm like, listen, be man, like again, be man enough to
Right.
say things were not right, whatever. So they, like you said, we ended it. Hey, life goes on. And that's what it is, right? Something doesn't work, you change it, you adjust it, you fix it. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
America to me was always about is the ability to come out of crap and just fix itself and keep going. And that's what the forefathers set up the Constitution to be, like an evolving thing, right? Because something doesn't work, you change it, you fix it,
Right.
you change
Absolutely.
history. And that's what makes America great, in my opinion, because you look at all the other big, big empires, Roman Empire, even Russia, whatever else. The issue is that once they get into trouble, if something doesn't work, boom, it's stuck for 20, 30 years, nothing changes.
Right.
America is always great because it could change like this if something is wrong. So we can hope, you and I can hope, man, that that's what happens right now, and then
Yeah.
takes the head out of its ass, whatever you said.
Yes.
I
Gotta be
hope so.
collective action,
Absolutely, absolutely.
and we're the only ones. I mean, the, they are imprisoning us right now as citizens. They're not controlling the borders. I mean, that's the government's fucking the federal government's one job: protect the citizens,
What?
and they're failing at that. Get the wide open border on the north and the south. You got people coming in who we don't 8 million people. We don't know who the fuck they are, and they keep catching they'll catch people on the terror watch list and then let them go. And how many people did they not catch? Because there's like a million gotaways who they don't have any information on at all. And I mean, shit. You think what happened in Israel by Hamas was terrible? It's going to happen here,
Yeah, if listen, if you don't know who's coming in and who's going, it's not,
right? They're
you
setting
gotta
up.
have borders. You gotta have borders. And that's what happened in Israel, by the way. As I
Yeah.
talked to a lot of Israelis, that something happened at the border where there's just broke in. They shouldn't be able to break in like that,
Oh
right?
no, not at all.
Because you're on the neighbor. But I mean, listen, it's crazy that you have neighbors like that. So you better have a serious border control.
Well,
Because
how we've lost 1 million people to fentanyl? You know,
yeah, and that's where it's
that's
coming from.
that's a fucking declaration of war right there by China. They're sending fentanyl over here, and they killed 1 million of our people. That's a fucking declaration of war. We should go after their ass.
Yeah. Well, it takes the determination. It takes like someone to actually call it, like you just said, openly say it and then deal with it, right? And then
Right.
and it
Nobody
what
wants to deal with it. Everybody wants to cover their eyes and stick their head in the sand.
yeah,
And I hope it'll solve itself. It's not going to solve itself. It's going to get worse.
getting worse, right? And I see a lot of people dying. The substance abuse left and right is just getting really out of control.
Yeah.
It's coming through the borders. I think it's all this stuff is getting into the country through the borders, and you gotta. I mean, like any great empire, you gotta have a good border.
Right.
If you want to
And
come into this country, come in legally.
but
File.
shit, Biden's pulling that. He's guilty of this sex trafficking. Human trafficking, sex trafficking. That son of a bitch. He's the biggest perpetuator of it.
Crazy, crazy.
Yeah.
Can't believe what's going on, man. But hey, like all we could do is be open yourself. And I know you guys had Pat Milicic you spoke with. He talks very openly about all these things,
Yeah.
and which is why also he doesn't get a lot of attention. But
And he
uh,
got fired several times. Yeah, because
he was a great commentator too.
yeah, yeah.
Growing up.
That's highly intelligent, and shares his knowledge, and he got chopped off at the feet, at the knees.
Who would you want to have commentating if a guy like you, guy like him, guys that have been in there and freaking fought their hearts out and fought all the best people, right? I would want to
Right,
hear from you. Like I'm watching the fight, I want to hear you talking about it, not
right.
some, to
You
get.
got a book written in a book.
I like, although I like Joe Rogan, I like listen, and the thing
Oh,
is,
Joe Rogan's he's a student of the sport, and he's so highly intelligent of it, because he trains every day. I mean, shit. When it first started, he became a student and went right after it. I mean,
yeah,
I don't think there's anybody. as knowledgeable, to the specifics as Joe is.
He knows
He's
his stuff. He's a black. He's got jujitsu, judo. He can really. I saw his kicking stuff. Like he's a
yeah,
true martial art. But he'll call it what it is. I know you talked to him on his show, right? He's
yeah,
an open guy. He'll
yeah.
won't hold any punch. He'll just say exactly what it is.
Well, he'll tell you to fuck off, if you don't
Yeah,
like,
yeah, which is how it is, right? Sometimes
yeah,
people do it. He has tremendous respect for you, obviously, but let me tell you, if somebody he doesn't like somebody or he doesn't think somebody, he'll openly say it, and that's it. And
right.
I like that. I like the fact that guys like him exist and guys like him become, famous and get a following.
Rich
He
and
has his own show. He
rewarded.
doesn't give a
Yeah.
shit about anybody.
Yeah, he's got his own show. I mean, why people ought to recognize that? Wait, Joe Rogan, he's got the biggest podcast on the planet, and he tells people what he thinks. Wait a second, what are we doing wrong here?
Yeah,
how
but
how
they
come we're not
tried. I
doing
don't know
that?
if you saw. They tried to cancel him.
Really?
Try to speak. I don't know if you look it up. You see, they tried a couple of times because he said he used a racial thing, whatever. But it was interesting that black guys, black fighters, came up said, "No, he didn't. No, no, no,
Yeah,
no, no, no.
right.
Don't even try that." And that's the only. I think that's what saved him because he's not. He ain't gonna say. And it's interesting. Martial artists like you guys that fought for real before it was a sport. He fought for real. There wasn't a racist thing in there and
Oh
at all. You,
no,
you walk in there, you don't even know what race is. You're just fighting the guy.
absolutely. You got an opponent. You don't recognize their collar. Don't know if they have fucking four eyes or three eyes or or one. They
You
have
can.
six arms. You just see that opponent over there and you go after him.
Yeah, black, white, whatever. You fought all the races. Doesn't matter. But
Right.
Gary Goodrich, I remember he had fights, and I didn't even like you ask somebody, you wouldn't even know what the race is, and that's how it is. To me, that's what it should be. Like you recognize a person. It's not about that at all.
No,
Uh,
I love Gary. I love Gary. He's great. He's such a good man, and it's sad. You
what
know,
happened to him? He had some medical stuff.
yeah, he's got a lot of brain injury. God bless him.
Yeah, yeah.
And
A lot of fights.
yeah,
He fought. I know he also fought in like Brazil. Like he had fights all over the place under any
yeah,
rules or no rules or whatnot.
yeah, yeah.
Which I think takes a major toll, like with you as well. But you know, in his case, like you said, it seems like that they had a lot of brain damage and this and that. But
Well, they threw him in there, into the kickboxing world, before he really understood it,
yeah,
before he was properly trained, and that's just dangerous. But you know, they used him. His people used him, and then took his money.
that's what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah,
Shame, shame to
yeah.
see. Seemed like a
So
great.
much, so much for friends and family, looking out for you.
Yeah, right, right, right. That's what happens. Hey, well, let me ask you the one last thing. I know you fought this guy Mark Hall several times, and you beat it seems like you beat the crap out of him pretty much every time. But
Right.
and then I see you guys are like hugging. What's this camaraderie? Like fighters really respect each other, even like you beat him up, and then he still comes over and he hugs you. And like there's this brotherhood type of a feeling. What is that feeling like? In other words, respect, or is it like beyond that?
Well, what's going? I mean, what are you gonna do when you get your ass kicked? You stand there talking. You better hope the guy's gonna hug you and kick you a final time. Shit. Um, yeah. When you fight somebody for 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes, and you can't get it out of your system, there's something wrong with you.
Right,
You know,
right, right,
you fucked up. You should have fucking fought harder. You should have trained harder. You didn't put everything into it. You're the one that lost.
right. And it seems like I used to watch a lot of these older boxing fights, Arturo Gatti and
Yeah,
real fighters. And I
yeah,
saw that like after the fight, they're both barely standing and they're hugging and they're talking to each other. And then they wanted to go back to the hospital in the same ambulance because they said they're like we're closer than brothers now. And I find that amazing. I think that's like what kind of really talks about the person, really shows the true heart of a warrior, a
yeah.
real.
The only person I saw who wasn't like that was Roberto Duran. You know, when he lost to Sugar Ray Leonard. You know, other than that, everybody in the world, got their ass kicked, and you train, you train for oh 3, 5, 6 months, and
Yeah,
put your whole body into it, your spirit and your mind and your soul's in there. And then you leave it on the canvas, and if you can't do that, then there's something wrong with you.
yeah. We shouldn't be in there, right? Then you're
Right.
in the wrong place, probably. Yeah,
Well, they should have trained harder, you know,
yeah.
and then they'd have won. Then they can dictate how what happens at the end of the fight.
Totally, but I saw that same respect when you guys fought back in the day, and I still see it now. I see, guys, but then also now you can also see some guys are disrespectful. Some guys are, you know, throwing stuff and yelling stuff, after the fact, which you never really know if it's real, if it's all BS, or if it's
Pro wrestling, right? Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're just selling tickets or what's going on.
Right, right.
There's this guy Colby Covington, like he'll talk a lot of trash and then continue talking trash after the fight, but then you don't know if it's just a show, is it just to sell tickets, but whatever, it's all
Right.
still a real fighter, still a good fighter, and still a real person. So it is what it is, right?
Well, if you're a sit fighter and you do talk all that smack, then you're worthless. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
You gotta be a good fighter to be able to talk the shit.
Look, like Muhammad Ali, right?
Right,
He
absolutely.
talked a lot, but he could back it up.
Yeah, you back. Yeah, he was the man.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, the greatest of all times.
Yeah, everybody imitates him. And they're not smart enough to. They don't have the charisma to.
No, no, he was a natural, right? It's hard to be like that.
Oh man, unbelievable, unbelievable. I
I
mean,
think in your business, Chael Sonnen tried to be or tries to be that way as far as talking, as far as uh, you know,
yeah.
being a smooth talker. But I don't think he's the same Muhammad Ali as far as
No, no,
fighting.
nobody ever was, nobody ever will be. Chael gives it a good run. Chael's a hell of a guy. He's funny too. He
Oh
is
yeah,
funny shit.
yeah.
But there can only be one gorgeous George. One Muhammad Ali. And
Only one, only
yeah,
one, only one.
absolutely.
Forever, and that is what it is. Hey Don, I appreciate your time. I really,
Thank
really,
you.
it's a huge privilege. I'm telling you every time. And thanks so much, man. And I hope to catch you again and talk to you some more again.
Yeah, I stand with Israel, buddy.
Yeah, so do I. And I do a lot of, I talk to a lot of people about Israel, like, and there's a lot of, because I do a lot of counseling. So a lot of people are like so distraught. I talk to Israelis, to talk to Ukrainian people, and everybody else need to help them. I hope they resolve that thing pretty quickly and get done with that.
Well, the
Absolutely.
rest of the world's gonna stay the fuck out of it. Let those two battle it out themselves.
Hey, listen, and Israel can fight. I'll tell you that. Israel.
Oh hell yeah, and they're beautiful too, man. Oh my god, those girls are so beautiful.
Ukrainian girls and Israeli girls, let me tell you, some of the most beautiful. It's a shame
Yeah,
to see those countries in these topics. You'd rather focus on the way, and I think that's what's wrong with the world, focusing on the wrong thing.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Let's play with the fun stuff.
Right.
Shit.
See those girls in Ukraine. You see those girls in Israel. You would forget about all this other nonsense,
Yeah, yeah. You won't be wanting to change your sex because you'd be wanting to go hang with her.
You won't even think about that crazy stuff.
Oh fuck no.
Why would you want to? You have
That's insane. It's just mental illness that we're encouraging, and
yes.
it's stupid. It's
In my
fucking
opinion, is a mental illness that should be treated. There should be you want to
right.
help those guys, and it could be done. I would love to
Absolutely,
sometimes.
absolutely. We're going the
Instead
wrong
of
way.
encouraging, instead of saying, "Oh yeah, that's fantastic, do some more." No,
Yeah,
deal with it, man.
just sit down. Let's talk about it and let's figure out. You're fucked up. Now let's figure out why.
Yeah,
And
and
how
fix
to
it.
solve it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I wish we had. And hopefully, that's going to happen more and more.
Hmm.
Don, I appreciate your time, brother. I appreciate it, and hopefully we'll talk more.
Yes, sir. Thanks, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Goodbye.